Yes, when I was very young, and I'm like 3 years old, I had this experience of waking up in a thunderstorm. I was a little kid. I was literally still in a crib because I could still see the crib that I was in. And this thunderstorm was raging outside the house. Crashes of lightning and, you know, the rain pouring down and everything like that. And I opened my eyes as this little child, and there's this beautiful woman standing over my bed looking at me very benevolently, very sweetly, just standing over me. And of course, as a 3-year-old, the only person who would be standing over your bed, it would be your mother. So I saw her and I went, "Mom?" And she didn't move. She didn't respond. She just kept looking at me very lovingly. And so I said it louder, "Mom?" And she still didn't respond. She was just looking at me. And then I started to notice that she was only visible in the darkness. In the flashes, the brilliant flashes of lightning, she was made of light. She disappeared in the light and was there in the dark as this luminous, radiant figure. That was not like Mom. And in that moment I went, "Mom!" You know, and I screamed. And suddenly my mother came running into the room, and as soon as she came into the room, that figure disappeared. And I was telling her about the Lady of Light, and that's what I called her. And my mother went, yeah, don't worry, it was just a dream. And I was, "No, this is not a dream. This was no dream." And for a long time, I spoke about the Lady of Light. My brother and sister remember me talking about her. My mother would remember me talking about her. And I would feel a kind of presence. I would just feel kind of a graceful presence in my life. And that went on until I went off to college. And at the end of my first year, I had just started to really get seriously into yoga and meditation. And in the interim, my family had moved to a different house. We were living in Connecticut by then. And one night I was home, and suddenly in the middle of the night, I wake up and she's there standing in my room again. And the same just magnificent look and just radiantly loving. And this time I just sat and watched her. And at one point I finally said, "I remember you. I know who you are." And she just stood there. And I felt the embrace of a love that I had never known. And it just permeated my entire being. And I fell into this state of deep merger and meditation. And I don't know how long it lasted. Sometime later, it was some hours, when I came to again, she was gone. Interestingly, where she stood was in the door, and the door was open. That door was never closed. I wound up encountering her sometime later after I had met Swami Muktananda and had received his blessings and the Shaktipat through him, and had another experience of her living presence.